Anything from the trolley? Anything off the trolley, dear?
Lumos. Hello friends, welcome back to Shell Cottage Radio. I'm your host Ezra, aka Bill, also known as your friendly tech wizard, former captain of the Hufflepuff Quidditch team, the Flannel Wizard, yours truly, me. Please welcome your lovely design witch, the fascination of fourth year, and my wonderful co-host and yours, Lottie, aka Fleur.
Hiya, schön, dass ihr da seid. Welcome to Fleur and Bill's home base, our little cottage on the outskirts of Tinworth.
Whoa. We gotta fix that door. We gotta fix it.
We do. We
oh my
do.
gosh. Was that us just coming into the house? And...
Right. Welcome inside. Make yourself at home.
Wow. I love that. That's cool.
Yeah. So this is our third episode of Shell Cottage Radio, in which we will discuss part 2 of our REWATCH. REWATCH?
Did you really say that? You know I'm not cutting that out because that's so cute.
Okay. No, you don't have to cut that out. That's all natural.
Can you say it again? We watch.
Whoa. Oh my god, I didn't mean to say that. It just came out. I'm sorry.
Influences. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
influences. It's great.
Really good influences, I have to say.
Yes.
The rewatch of the first movie of the Fantastic Beasts series, Fantastic Beasts, and Where to Find Them. But before we get started, sweetie, how are you?
I am wonderful. You know, I've got my Hufflepuff tie on. So if you get a chance to come check out the YouTube edition of this, we always post the video version for you guys over there. And it's a lot of fun. You know, really for us, it's fun to remember, like, the wind is blowing outside. It's a little bit warmer. It's nice. Just like a breeze kind of blowing through the window. So you guys might actually hear some, I don't know, sounds. I'm not actually sure what is going to happen. But it's just like the other day we were recording here, and like this window it's right next to a really big tree. And so you can hear tons of different birds and animals, and we have like a little creek in the back.
Right.
We've got like a babbling little stream. I think it even connects down to this lake over here too, so you can kind of hear some of those things. But there it is. We threw the microphone out in the backyard so you guys could hear it.
Well, we kind of Wingardium Leviosa it out there.
Yeah, so. We Wingardium Leviosa did it. We swished and we flicked it, and then we boom, and out it went, right?
Right.
That's perfect.
So, no, it's a beautiful day today. So, a wonderful day to record, actually.
Yeah, it is. And we've had a really good morning. Like, it's been great. We had pancakes.
Yeah.
We had pancakes this morning. We had some eggs. Kind of a nice little omelet.
Porridge, fruit. So, just about a bit of everything. And, now we're just enjoying our hot coffee provided by the lovely trolley witch.
That was so cute.
I gotta say, so I had that idea a couple days ago, and then I don't know, I wanted to find out what does she really say. Mm-hmm. And I found 2 clips, one of the Sorcerer's Stone and one in, I think it's Goblet of Fire. And did you notice that the trolley witch is not the same?
I did not know that. No.
So I guess they changed the actress. I don't know why. Maybe she couldn't come back, or I don't know if she passed away.
Yeah.
But the trolley witch is different in the Goblet of Fire, and she says something different. So in the first movie, she says anything off the trolley, and then second, she asks anything from the trolley. So just in case you heard both versions and you weren't sure which one is the right one. Yep, she says both. Anyways.
Well, yeah, if folks know why. I mean, because that is interesting when they recast someone or they have someone who, time, whatever it might be. Again, those films went on for several years, so who knows? But that's cool. I love that when the trolley witch comes by and Ron's trying to get something off of it, and Harry's there like, hey, I can get it. I got it. He's like, no, it's fine, right? And then he's like, well, take the lot. And they take all of the candy and everything, and he gets immersed in sort of Wizarding World treats, which is which is great. So,
Right.
but sweetie, hey, I'm doing really well. How are you doing though? You doing okay?
I am. Yep. I mean, the better weather really has an effect. Also, sweetie, what are we missing today? I am good, but I'm also a little sad
I
that
know.
we're in the States right now.
We're recording this on
Yeah.
on the 7th, right? So I think technically it's out. Am I wrong about that? Like the Fantastic Beasts, it's technically out on the 8th, but like there's those early midnight showings the
Yeah.
day before on the 7th. Pretty much, they always say it's Friday, but you get your Thursday kind of releases. So yeah, we have to wait another week in the United States to watch this. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little, little been out of shape about it. The premiere was cool just to see all the actors and actresses there and the different people involved with the project. That was really cool, and it seems really good. Early, I think I said this last time, like early reviews are coming out and people are saying that it's a step up. Like they really like it. Mads Mikkelsen is great. There's this whole going back to Hogwarts thing that's really good.
Yes.
So that's all really encouraging. I think it maybe makes more sense. It seems like we're back to our core four. Like Dumbledore sets them up, they go on their mission, and then he's going to be there. But like Jude Law's in this, and he's a fantastic Dumbledore.
Right.
And Dumbledore's a great. You need kind of a tie-in to the original series. You need
Yes.
something to say, okay, I understand what this is, and this is just this is an early Hogwarts. So
Yeah. It's awesome that we learn more about Dumbledore, and this whole movie is supposed to be about his story. So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm happy for you guys if you're over in Europe or somewhere else and you can already watch it. Like that's awesome. So
here we go. So this is something from. Is it okay to kind of pop into some of our
Yeah.
news and just?
absolutely, yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to mention there before we get into that?
Oh yeah, before we have our Potter Watch segment, we're gonna do just a tiny little quote quiz
Oh, yeah.
with you. So
This is why I always check in, even though I'm trying to be the new professor for the history of magic professor. I got to check in and make sure that I'm on track. All right, what do we got? So yeah, quote of the day.
okay, so I am what I am, and I'm not ashamed.
I am what I am, and I'm not ashamed. I have no. It was just from Fantastic Beasts.
Let's say it's from the Wizarding world.
Wizarding.
Okay,
sweet. Narrow it down for
I'll
me.
help you. It's from the Harry Potter series,
From the Harry Potter series. Okay, I am what I am.
and I'm not ashamed.
Hagrid.
Good job,
Is
sweetie.
it
That
Hagrid?
was your first guess. Very good.
Let's go.
Hagrid it is.
You
Yeah.
know, I took those holiday special quizzes for House Hufflepuff, and I did okay. All right, I earned us some points. I carried my own.
I think I participated once or twice.
Ah,
I did my part.
yeah. No, you guys. Well, that makes sense. It's all right. There were people going on just bombing us Hufflepuffs. I know it for a fact. They were just like, you know what? We got to be true to our house here. Okay, don't let them on to how witty we are. So let's just wing it. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's a good one. I like that. Thanks, sweetie. Okay. Do you want to? So we got Potter Watch now.
Yes. And something I wanted you to do last time, and I forgot, but today you're not getting out of this.
Okay.
Sweetie, give me a good Potter Watch announcement.
Potter Watch announcement.
Like,
Oh my gosh. What would that sound like? That would just be like,
try to
let's see.
channel the Lee Jordan in you and a good rebel radio station.
Wow. Okay. Let's see here. All right, friends. Thanks for tuning in to Potter Watch 94.7 COZY. We are back with the latest. We've got an article from Deadline talking about the release of the Fantastic Beasts International box office.
Potter Watch. Oh God, that was terrible. Please cut that out.
No.
Oh,
that
please.
Was Potter Watch.
There you go. So yeah, people, I can't sing. I'm not gonna sing on this podcast. So
Please do.
Ezzy is the singer.
No, I'm not actually. But like that one's hard. Like the Potter Watch thing, I don't really know. I have to kind of come up. We need like an intro for
Potter
that.
Watch.
Like a full on read where I
Yeah,
enter
like a breaking
kind of
news.
Yeah, you need to cue some music and it just like and it just kind of like take notes. Yeah, write that down. We'll have to do that. It'll be kinda
Okay.
And really, we don't pull a whole lot here. It's just that the big topic of the day is Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore, and that it is releasing internationally ahead this weekend. So we're recording on the 7th, and it'll be the 8th. So April 8th, this whole weekend it's going to be coming out, and they're saying it's going to be making close to $50 million this weekend. Is what they're thinking.
Everyone wants to find out what is Dumbledore's secret or his secrets.
So now again, what's tricky about this though, and I don't really understand all of this stuff. I think they're saying that's down from the previous two films. And this could have to do with just today's, movie market and people going to the movies. Could also have to do with the fact that it's being released. We have to wait for it, so that could be a little different. Let's see. Yeah. Wow, what is that? That's good. Is this our news? That's perfect. Something like that. We'll have to kind of figure something out like there. Okay. That was great.
Potter Watch. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let me see here. So this is just kind of talking about the market and everything. Currently, estimates for the early offshore release are in the mid 50 million range. That's down compared to the previous two films in the Wizarding World spin-off series, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, for markets. And at today's rates, opened at 120 million and 115 million respectively. Those films had gone out in November and played into Christmas, and they finaled at 58 million and 49 million internationally. So they're just kind of saying that it seems like these might be down. The Secrets of Dumbledore is currently carrying a 60% fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes. I thought it was higher than that, but this is a Deadline article. Just pulled this up here. I wanted to see what some of the reports were. It's opening across school holidays and many of its overseas plays. I think they said it's open in the likes of, Belgium. Where else here? I think all of the EU maybe, right? So it's like UK, Australia, Germany, Japan, Spain, China.
Remember we talked about it too, that I was originally going to be in Germany this week. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I can watch it. You can't.
Right.
And I can already tell you what's going to happen.
I know. It's crazy. I was saying, take me in your pocket, just let me listen or something. That's pirating, though. We can't do that. But I just wanted to listen, ahead of time. I would have paid double just to go, just to do that. So let's see. On Easter weekend, the David Yates directed Dumbledore, The Secrets of Dumbledore, will add 44 markets, including France, Italy, Korea, and all of Latin America. The Secrets of Dumbledore is the third episode in the 5-part J.K. Rowling created Harry Potter prequel series. It's set several years after the events of the Crimes of Grindelwald. And we got Albus Dumbledore duking it out with Grindelwald. So
right.
Yeah, this is interesting. That's just some of the news about the money. I think it's going to come out and do way more. I think it's going to be way more of a hit, way more successful than people realize. Once the internet starts talking about it, this is all based on early critics and stuff. So
right.
By the time you guys even hear this, it'll be out. You already kind of know, and
right.
We'll be talking about it. But
the
it's just
secret
crazy.
Will be out.
Yeah, the secret will be out. We're just sitting here like, shoot, wish we could be over there early watching it. Some people were joking about flying over just to watch it. I'm like, I'm in that crew. I would like to do it. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Now, in other news, though, we actually have some local news here, actually. Sweetie, you want to go ahead and talk about this for a second?
Yeah. So yesterday I saw something cool on MuggleNet on their Instagram account, and they posted that ahead of the release of Secrets of Dumbledore, Kowalski quality baked goods pop-ups are set to appear on the streets of Cleveland, Ohio, and Kansas City, Missouri. So in two locations, but just unfortunately, just for one day. And you said it's only on Friday, and
it's tomorrow.
We can't go.
We can't go. I know.
Oh, I would have loved to go.
I would have too.
So if any one of you guys listening has or had the chance to go, let us know how it was. I would have loved to try their quality baking goods.
It's going to be in different cities too, right, though? It's going to be in a couple different cities?
Oh, so it's traveling?
I think it said it's going to be in Cleveland, and then after that it'll be in a couple different places, because this is the release for this is interesting in that this weekend it's international, and then so I think that to build the hype around here, they're just kind of doing a couple weekend events leading into the release. So Yeah, I found that to be pretty cool. That's a neat way to do it. Take a big city and do something, with a food truck. I don't know. That's cool. Not that it's attached to anything necessarily that with the studio or anything. It's just kind of a cool way for people to build hype,
Right, and to kind of experience what it could taste like to go into Jacob's bakery and try one of his pastries.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that is pretty much it. Last time I wanted to mention, go check out Fogler's Fiction, by the way. This is his Instagram, so the guy that plays Jacob. He has his own podcast, The Whole Nine Yards. It's there. Catherine Watterson's Instagram, and Allison, who plays Queenie. I got those down in the description this time. I forgot to do it last time, and I wanted to mention it. It's kind of a follow-up to that episode. So those are there, because I think you should follow the cast and crew and check out what they're saying. They advocate for different causes, and they have their own voices, their own platforms where they speak out and do wonderful things. So I think that's kind of cool. Want to put that down there for folks. And I wanted to mention too, at the end of this episode, once we're through the second half of the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, we're going to be talking about a major theory concerning Tina Goldstein and Credence Barebone.
Yeah, so please stick around for that theory, because I couldn't believe it when I read it. And maybe we are the last people on the planet who, discovered that theory, and everyone's like, wow, we heard about this like a long time ago. What are you?
Yeah, exactly.
But I did not know about this, and but we're going to talk about the movie first, and then we're going to dive into that.
It's a really great theory though, and the thing is too, not a lot of people go and read Reddit, and they're not really, I don't know. I feel like when you find something like that and you can pull it out and share it with folks, it's just great, and we'll give credit to the author and everything. Because it's great. It was floating around on Twitter, and then they put it out on Reddit, and it's there's images and stuff. So our YouTube will have a separate clipped up YouTube video for it as well, because it's great. So, wowzers. Okay, sweetie. Yeah. Oh, the creek's back.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just put the microphone outside again for a second. It just does it on its own. It's like a magical.
It's like a wandering kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Sometimes it just
happens. All right, so we're going to dive in here, right, into the main part of the episode. And you've got some notes, we've got some different thoughts. So again, we're starting just at the second half. I think last time we left off where we had the execution was going on. And we were pulling up some of the X-ray stuff, talking about some of the general trivia, and really our major takeaways and things that we thought were interesting and kind of funny as we get hyped again for the Secrets of Dumbledore. We're rewatching this, so some major takeaways. The execution scene is pretty intense, and it actually has some tie-in to our theories later on. So stick around for that. We'll talk about that, because what you see and what Tina sees, down in the liquid or whatever that is that she's staring into, the visions and the memories they cast in there, really kind of important for the theory. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Right. So, we just, like you said, we just left off when Tina and Newt, they were sentenced to death.
To die.
That's crazy.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I think Madam President owes them a bit more than just, hey, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Now, again, she wasn't the one who was approving their death. Graves did that on his own. But still, like, whoa, they almost got killed.
Right.
So, that's crazy.
Right. And we said last episode that Queenie, she sensed something was wrong. She could hear Tina's thoughts, probably. And she's trying to escape that one, his name is Sam, that one ministry worker. No, it's not the ministry. We said that last time. The MACUSA worker. And she's like, hey, Sam, do you want me to tell, your wife that you're talking to Ruby? So seems like Sam and Ruby are a thing.
They're a thing, yeah. I don't know what's going on with those two, but that was
Queenie knows that. I mean, think about it. Queenie knows everything.
Blackmail.
She could probably blackmail anyone if she wanted to, because she has all that knowledge about people. Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, Queenie is trying to rescue Tina and Newt, and like you said, Tina has a flashback about Credence. And here's where we're going to present you a theory. Well, at the end, after we discuss the movie, we're going to talk about that theory. But I was like, hey, why is she so fond of or attached or has that connection to Credence? Because, I was like, maybe because she seems to be an orphan. She and Queenie were orphans at some point. And Credence is an orphan. So maybe she's just very, she's just very compassionate and shows that she knows how they feel and she wants them to have a good life. But there's more to it.
Way more.
Probably.
Way more than we thought. I had no idea there was that many connections and stuff. So, yeah. And I haven't seen any of the big YouTubers really talking about it either. So I went and looked. And I'm like, well, this is kind of cool. So, and that, again, depending on your platform, you'll have access to stuff that they break down. So this will be kind of cool. Be fun to discuss. Hopefully one of them picks it up and does something big with it, because I think it's probably exactly what's happening, you know?
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, so we'll save that. But
yeah,
just a really, really cool moment. And then what is the little creature that kind of saves the day? Newt, he has pick the lock, which is cool. Okay.
Yes,
and then you've got like the swooping evil thing or whatever popping in there.
Right. We get introduced to the swooping evil, which is like a blue-green winged dark magical beast. It's almost like a butterfly, but it has a wolf-like skull. And it does quite a bit in this movie. So it helps them escape their, basically death.
Yeah.
In this situation. And then later on, Newt uses it for not only to distract Grindelwald, but also the venom. The venom of that swooping evil is pretty powerful, and it can be used to erase memories.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Newt does. So, I mean, Newt is so powerful because he knows about all these, different properties, different things that the beasts can do. So.
Sweetie, I'm going to go ahead and do something already. All right.
Okay.
So for folks that are listening to this project, I have another project called Up Talkin' Tolkien, right? It's a Lord of the Rings podcast. And in that, we're going to eventually do a kind of like Harry Potter influences or Lord of the Rings influences, back and forth. Because what you just brought up with Newt being this wizard who is among the creatures and sort of values the creatures, right? It very much reminds me of Radagast the Brown.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of even when Gandalf says that it's the small things. It's those little things that make all the difference, small acts of kindness and the things that people overlook. And the creatures, these fantastic creatures who are innocents, just living their lives, doing their thing, people want to exterminate them. Even Tina is misguided and wants to exterminate these creatures.
Yep.
And he sees the value in them, right? Grindelwald does not put stock in those types of creatures. He can't creatively think how they would be valuable. Now, something powerful like an Obscurial or whatever, he's all over it. I think if he knew that he had that Thunderbird and what all maybe it could do, or some of these other things, if he could tame them, he would want to use them. But like, Newt doesn't want to use those creatures in that way, really. He wants to study them and learn and things like that, but he wants to protect them, preserve them, and take care of them.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
yeah.
Anyways, check out Up Talkin' Tolkien. We're going to be doing, Lottie's going to be over there, and we're going to be covering sort of a Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings crossover, and if any of our friends from that project come over here, it'll be nice for them to hear that we're making those connections. So,
yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Okay, so to move on here just a little bit now, while the execution's going on, they all get in the case, right? So thankfully Queenie was able to go here, get in the case. It's this really awesome moment. One of my favorite things was when she's trying to get in the door, and she's like, do you know any fun, or not fun, do you know any powerful spells to unlock doors or whatever? She asked him about this, or you wouldn't happen to know any of these things, right? And obviously he doesn't. Next thing you know, you cut back and he's just kicking the door down.
Oh.
Because he's a no-mage.
That's why you said that. I remember you saying that. I think I took some notes and I didn't even see it.
You didn't see it, yeah.
At that moment, and you were like, he just kicked the door down.
He just kicked it down, yeah. So he's just like, and then her eyes are like, when he does it, she's like, okay. You know what I mean?
Woo-hoo.
What's up? And I think it's just like, this is a guy who's just like, I don't need all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You guys and your fancy magic, I just kick this thing down. Yeah. And that's what you don't expect. You rely so much on magic. Something that Arthur Weasley's always amazed by, right? These muggles, right? Their ingenuity, right?
Yeah.
The things they'll do.
Oh, what would Arthur say about the internet and our technology today?
Who knows? It probably is some form of magic. I don't even know myself.
Yeah, true.
So, all right, though. So they eventually get out. They're doing their thing, and this is when Graves goes and speaks to Credence Barebone.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of about what's going on, the child, all these different things. So that's kind of an intense moment. And he gives him the little kind of like necklace thing that he can touch, and it's the Deathly Hallows symbol, right? He puts that on Credence's neck, and I was like, wow. Like, when you're first watching it, you're just like, okay, maybe there are more wizards obsessed with that. And then, I guess if you're really paying attention, you would think, okay, Graves is working for Grindelwald.
Yeah.
And then when this being a rewatch, you're like, no, that is Grindelwald. And then you have this whole situation where Tina fights him later, and every time you see Graves fight somebody, you're like, that's a major duel right there, you know? Newt fights him, Tina fights him, and holds her own more so. She's a big deal.
They are, both of them. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then what do you think about this? So there's a scene. I think it's really beautiful. It's when they're on the roof, and Jacob is talking about how his grandfather, like, I don't know, raised pigeons or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And Queenie's like, yeah, you know, my grandpa, he raised owls or whatever. And it's kind of funny.
I mean, they have a connection there, even though they're from two totally different worlds, but they're like you know, bonding over the fact that their family they were into birds and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's funny because their relationship's it's more obvious, and we can see it more kind of, you know, coming together, and you see Tina and Newt just standing beside each other kind of more stiffly, more like, you know, just a cool thing. Some of the cool thing now, last time I brought up the X-ray stuff, so you just stop me, sweet, if there's anything that you want to talk about here that jumps out at you.
Sure, go ahead.
So the producer, actually, like, I guess in 2011, he had this whole idea of doing a one-off fake documentary special featuring Newt in the style of documentaries by famous naturalists. And so he had the likes of, like, Steve Irwin, Jane Goodall, and some real-life people who... And then you would throw in there Newt Scamander. That's kind of a funny thing, and he thought that would be a cool way to maybe do something. So he shares that with a fellow producer, and it gets back to J.K. Rowling, and it's sort of an inspiration, I guess, for Fantastic Beast. She already had different ideas, several stories in mind, and all those cool things. But I thought it was pretty neat that this idea got to Jo, and then she kind of took it from there and you know, created it. So just kind of a thing. And it just pops up in the X-ray. It pops up around an hour 16, and that's just when it pops up in the notes here. So. Here's another one too. They just, again, they could have dropped these earlier. They just kind of spaced them out throughout the thing. So, let's see. Eddie Redmayne, who plays Newt, actually auditioned for the Tom Riddle in, I didn't know this. I think I maybe had heard it, but like, yeah, he auditioned for Chamber of Secrets Tom Riddle. Didn't get it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, now that he played Newt, it's really hard because Newt is just such a lovely character, living in his own world, but super nice. Now it's hard to imagine, but I could see him as a Tom Riddle if he really, I mean... He's
a skilled actor.
He
could definitely pull it off. Yeah.
I would love to see him just do his own version of Tom Riddle.
Well, and the cool thing is that student Tom Riddle, who's not yet full-on Dark Lord or whatever, so it's just kind of struggling with things. And Newt struggles with a lot, too, and he does a good job of sort of conveying being odd or being different or not typical, right? You know, his classmates might call him odd or something, but really, he's perfect. He's perfect just the way he is.
Yeah.
And that's what he sees, too, in the likes of Tina and Lita Lestrange back in the day. And at the end of this, when he talks about people changing, it's great.
Yeah. That's interesting, though. I just had a random thought. Like, we say, okay, Newt's perfect the way he is, and you know, he should embrace his character. But would we say the same thing about Tom Riddle?
Whoa.
Because, I mean, I think we should say, as long as you don't hurt other people, or you know, like as long as it...
Maybe the problem was that no one said that to him when he was at Hogwarts.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Maybe he didn't have somebody... He had Slughorn, but maybe that wasn't the guy he needed. Maybe he needed somebody to believe and to see more in him. Yeah. You know? Because again...
And guide him in to a different direction.
Right. It's a story, and so he turns into the villain, and then the likes of Harry, Ron, and Hermione have to deal with that villain, and that's what we get to experience in the Harry Potter saga. But I've always thought it's interesting to look at those villains and say, what happened to them?
Yeah.
You know, and what was it along the way that you can learn that went wrong? What were they missing? What were they?
I mean, he was obviously missing, the love of his parents. He didn't have his parents. So, but Harry could have turned out. I mean, that's what we see. I know this is kind of off topic, but that is what we see. Harry could have gone to Slytherin and could have gone a different, down a different route, but he turned out totally different, and he lost his parents, and he grew up in a, for him, terrible environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that's just, I don't know. We'll have to do a whole special on Tom Riddle and what went wrong.
We will.
Be thinking about that, because you asked the same question. We were over on one of my other projects as well, and you said something about Emperor Palpatine. You and these dark lords, these dark wizards, you're always checking in to see, are they okay? Like it was.
I care about everyone.
I know.
I
want to
know why. I mean,
you're so sweet.
Why did they become?
Yeah.
Why did they choose the dark
path
side?
they chose? Yeah, I know. Well, now here's another interesting fella. So you want to take us into this next sort of scene where you've got Tina's informant?
Right. So I love when they go they try to find that informant. Tina's like, yeah, I know someone who could give us a hint about the demiguise, because they want to collect all the beasts, because Grave is he's blaming it on Newt's beasts, and as long as they're out there, he can just operate in the dark, because everyone is just looking for Newt's beasts. So she remembers an informant. His name is Narlac, and he is interesting. He is an American goblin gangster, according to harrypotter.fandom.com. And he ran the Blind Pig, which is a magical speakeasy located at it doesn't matter where it's located, but and they go there to that pub, kind of underground pub thing. And it's so cute when the ladies get all dressed up. We get a shot of the guys, Newt and Jacob, and we see that Newt, he cast a little bow tie around his neck, and and I think it's kind of cool. He's wearing that all the way until the end. So after he casts that bow tie, we can see the last scene of him and Tina saying goodbye. He still has that.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Here's a little fact. So I also want to kind of, I'm always trying to drop a little American history for Lottie, just to kind of help her just a little bit in terms of, because this is interesting, I think, for the show. So it's called a speakeasy because of Prohibition in the United States. Prohibition started in 1920, and it goes until 1933, so 13 years. Prohibition in the United States was a nationwide constitutional ban on the production, importation, transportation, and sale of alcoholic beverages from 1920 to 1933. Yeah. Right? Crazy. That was one of our amendments. It was just wild.
That's interesting, because when I was in Germany teaching English, we actually discussed the ban of alcohol for a while in the States.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
What? Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
But yeah, that's interesting. That's that's here it is a totally different context, probably. Or is it?
Well,
is it the same?
This is 1926, and so they're in the United States, and that's what this is. So it's a speakeasy. The Blind Pig was located in Manhattan, New York. It's run, as you said, by Narlac, the gangster, and essentially it's an underground sort of like knock on the door. They're still serving drinks. Now, I don't know whether or not the speakeasy was an establishment that illegally served alcoholic beverages. Such establishments flourished during the Prohibition era in the United States, when selling, making, and transporting alcoholic beverages were against the law. So they're trying to kind of, here we go. The American wizarding government did not enforce Prohibition during the period in which the American no-maj government did. However, there was at least one magical pub which was described as a speakeasy. So it looks like they were still allowed to kind of, they're part of, essentially, the wizarding world is still saying, no, we're good. We're not doing that stupid Prohibition thing. And maybe that's how you get people who were doing undercover kind of speakeasies and trying to get in places. I mean, if you're Narlac and you've got some regular old-fashioned, giggle water or whatever,
Yeah.
and you want to send it off to the no-mages, you make some money. So he's that kind of guy.
Pretty cool, yeah. And
But-
what's interesting about him too is, I just read this, that he carried 2 wands, and that's a whole discussion in the Harry Potter series is that the goblins are not allowed to have wands,
Wow.
right? So house elves, goblins, they're all magical creatures, but they always operate without wands, and they're not non-wand holders.
Right.
So why does he have 2 wands? Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And it's it's unknown how he gained the ownership, it says, of such wands. So, I mean, he's a gangster, so.
Yeah. I guess so. In the Lego Dimensions, sort of, he's in Lego Dimensions, the Harry Potter part, or Fantastic Beasts part. It said that there's, well, let me see here. On Rowling's official site, after 2016, after the redesign, it featured an image of a page from an early draft of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the original screenplay, with a deleted scene in which Narlac mentions that he was from the old country, Great Britain, like Newt Scamander, and that his whole family is with Gringotts in the treasure and curse business. So that's kind of cool. There's just a reference back to kind of a tie back to the old country.
Cool.
So that's neat.
Yeah. And then he has some information about the demiguise, right? And he's like, what can you pay me? And Newt pulls out some money, some eggs, Ashwinder eggs.
Yeah, is that what it was called? Ashwinder eggs?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
It's ASHWINDER.
Okay, just like it sounds.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what
And he's
are
like,
these?
not really interested.
Yeah, those aren't enough to kind of pull them over, right? So they're magical. It's a magical serpent which was born from the embers of an unattended magical fire. So the Ashwinder eggs were extremely hot and flammable, and if not frozen in time, they would light fire to the surrounding area. They were bright red, very valuable when frozen. That's crazy. I I saw him pull those out, and I'm like, what are those things? I have no idea what that is. Okay, interesting.
Right. So he does. That's what we basically learn is most people don't really know much about beasts and what they can do.
See the connections here. Severus Snape had a whole bunch of them in his storage during the 1989-1990 school year, and he's telling Filch and Madam Pence, one day, that he had awoken to find Ashwinder eggs, Murtlap tentacles, and Occamy eggshells missing. Okay. This
Interesting.
Is all cool. This is the things you learn here.
Yeah.
Wow. That is really cool. Just those little... This is in Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery Year 6. Yeah, Chapter 22, The Exchange Student. Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Anyway, so yeah, that whole scene is pretty neat. And there's another great moment, another no-mage moment, where Jacob, once this all breaks down and it's finally, you get Pickett, he hands him over. He wasn't going to. He was going to get him right back or whatever.
Right.
But they get the information. Jacob has this moment where he punches Narlac. Again, just like kicking down the door. He's just like, I got this,
Yep.
And there's the moment, too, before, because I'm just a huge fan of Jacob. There's a moment before where he's at the bar and he's drinking his giggle water. And it's just like Queenie comes over and he's talking about, she's like, are all no mages like you? Right?
Oh, yeah.
And like,
No.
There's
There's only one.
It's just him. It's just funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool kind of moments there. But that was a cool whole scene. I remember after the scene was over, like there's singing going on. There's a unicorn kind of, I don't know if it's Patronus or whatever it was that was bouncing around from the singer, and she was, singing, doing her whole thing. So it was a really cool scene, I thought.
Yeah.
Underground.
I'm just amazed that Narlac would tell on them and he would risk. I mean, he gives away his location of the blind pig.
Yeah.
To tell on Newt. So they must have, offered him a bunch of something, money, whatever he wants. I don't know.
Right.
He's interested in more than money, I think. But that is pretty interesting. That is his speakeasy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's cool, too, that this is Tina's informant. So she's gone to this guy before. She says she's arrested most of the people in here. So Tina's a big deal. Right. And so it's also a big deal that she walks in here. I don't think anyone would mess with her. She has a quiet sort of presence and demeanor about her. But I feel like once I saw her fight Grindelwald, I was like, no one's messing with her. You know what I mean? Like she's a big deal and super strong and super powerful.
Yes.
We always people like to rank wizards and who's more powerful, who's stronger. But she's an aura who just sort of messed up with the whole Barebone situation, and it was like at the cost of risking exposure or exposing the wizarding world to the no-mages. She gets in big trouble. Otherwise, I think she's a real asset to their team at MACUSA.
Right. Oh yeah, she is. Yep.
So yeah. Okay, what else you got there, sweetie?
So in the next, when this whole scene is over, we go back to the Barebone house, right?
Yeah.
And we see that the little girl, what was her name?
Modesty.
Yeah. That she has a wand underneath her bed, and that Credence
dare she
found it. And I'm like, where did she get that wand from? Is that do you think it's a real wand?
I think it was a toy wand because she snaps it in half and you don't see any magical sparks or any like unicorn hair. You don't see anything
Good
special.
point.
It just looks like wood snapped in half.
Good point.
Because I think she says it's just a toy and she's just playing. You kind of understand the fascination of that. Like when your air quote mother has been telling you this whole time witches are bad and you're always talking about it. You're obsessed with it in some weird way. It's almost like it's the opposite of what Petunia did, right?
Yeah.
So Petunia just like, no, I'm not even going to acknowledge it exists.
Yeah. Not
a thing. Go to this complete extreme to just get it out of her mind because she secretly wanted to be one.
Yeah.
Right? She wishes she would have got her letter. So I kind of feel like the same thing is going on here with this family, in that Mary Lou, Barebone, is maybe wanted like is again shocked by it, is sort of like whatever, but there's something more to her and her understanding of this. She's either had an encounter and felt like, oh shoot, like now I'm really scared because I don't have that power and there are individuals out there who could hurt me and I don't have it.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe a person close to her was hurt through witches or wizards.
Well, and the cool thing is it looks like she does know Credence's mother because she says she talks about how evil,
which is interesting for a theory later.
Right, an evil creature. And it's funny because Graves later says that he's a squib, right?
Right.
Shout out to squibs, by the way. I think, Mrs. Fig, wonderful human being. So, yeah. Anyway, but no, I think that's something. It's, again, the opposite. She becomes obsessed with this witches and wizards and the understanding of it because, is it because she really hates them or does she, is there something, there's something that she's either scarred from it or she's fearful of it, or maybe it started from a place of jealousy or whatever.
Yeah.
But now the kids are becoming kind of obsessed with it, and Modesty is like now whittling a wand and making a wand for fun because it's like that's all that's talked about in their house.
Right.
Yeah. That's the other thing too, is remember what you talk about in front of your kids. I mean, if you talk about sports, they're going to talk about sports and be interested. Like kids are very easily influenced, right?
Yeah.
The mind is being shaped and stuff.
They're just naturally curious most of the time.
Yeah.
And when you tell them that their whole lives, don't, like, magic is evil, don't touch wands, don't get involved with magic at all. They get curious. They're like,
so yeah, why is it so evil?
Why? Yeah. Don't, if you don't give them an explanation, they want to find one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. So it's something just to kind of keep in mind because they're coming to their parents for information. That's who they're asking why to and everything. So, okay, let's see. Yeah, after that, this is great. We go to Macy's. Yeah, the Macy's store, right?
That's pretty cool.
I thought that was hilarious. So we're in here with the Demiguise, which is such a cool creature.
Yes, it is.
Babysitting, just doing what's needed. And I thought that was just really kind of awesome. But because the whole thing is he has this ability where he can kind of see the future just a little bit, just a few minutes ahead.
Right. And that's incredible. And he looks like he has the look of a cute, but like a wise old creature, you know?
Did you just describe me? What the? Do I look like that, demiguise?
I mean, they may be some similarities.
Some similarities, yeah. You like sloths, don't you?
They're cute.
Sloths are cute, right?
Yeah.
I mean, most, but like he looks like
True, like a sloth.
But is this hold on? Is this demiguise? Let me see. Yeah, either way, the demiguise looks like a sloth.
Yeah.
I think a little bit. So yeah, and it's just got cool.
His name is Dougal.
Dougal. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Dougal, the demiguise here. Yeah, just really cool. And he says it's really difficult to capture one of them, or not capture, but to catch one.
Yeah, and they're pretty peaceful, but they turn invisible when threatened.
Mm-hmm.
So normally you can see them if they feel comfortable, if they feel good, you can see them, but they turn invisible.
Yeah. When
threatened.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, so Dougal is actually taking care of the young Occamy that we're gonna find. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, and let's actually move on to the Occamy. Am I saying that right?
Occamy, I don't know. Occamy.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's such a beautiful creature. I love the colors.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks like a big mix of a snake, dragon, rainbow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cute.
Beautiful.
Has a beak and everything. And it's just a beautiful creature. And the cool thing is it kind of, the size can change because it will fill out the space.
Yeah.
In which I don't fully understand, because then when Newt, maybe that magic doesn't really work in Newt's suitcase. I don't know, because when he's down in his suitcase, he just carries one of the Occamys back to the Occamy, like their little nest, right? And the nest is obviously, it's the suitcase, the nest is bigger.
Yeah.
Why are you smiling like that?
I'm just, well, sorry. No, I love the deep and sweaty where in which your mind goes to, because it's awesome. Because likewise in the Harry Potter fandom, the wiki, they ask certain questions. Like they are kind of asking the question: is given its snake-like appearance, can it also speak Parseltongue? Can it? They don't know, right? It's currently unknown. There's no reason to say that other than like the author of this article clearly thought, I wonder if this creature could speak Parseltongue
or understand it. Yeah. Sometimes you maybe can't speak it, but it's like Dutch and German are pretty close, so I could probably understand parts of like when somebody speaks Dutch. Yeah. But I couldn't speak it, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
That's interesting though.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of cool.
If there's different dialects of Parseltongue.
Probably. Yeah, I would say so. All right, so cool moment. I would know what to mention. So Jacob has the most, again, non-magic moment where he gets the cockroach or whatever, and it is the cockroach throw of all throws.
It is.
Right, sweetie? This is like across the room. Where were the magic wands? You've got all these different magic users in there.
I know,
and
right?
Nobody's just saying like, Accio.
Hey, Muggle, can you please like throw the cockroach
across the room and catch it in a teapot?
20 meters.
It was really actually kind of cool.
It is. And I mean it's clearly a scene for the cinematic effect and everything. But because you're kind of wondering, like, they all can use magic. You can totally just.
Well, and it's realistic still because of the chaos that this creature is causing. It's like now insects are stirring up and they're running around, and this creature is like freaking out and everything. So I love that the demiguise that Dougal jumps on Jacob. Right?
Yeah,
he holds on to Jacob.
Yeah, he knew he was going to do that. You see that in his vision.
In his vision,
right before everything happens, he's like, "I'm going to hold on to that guy."
And doesn't that tell you something too? You wonder, again, this is a magical creature. We know Jacob gets a wand later on for some reason. Yeah. But like, there's something you can trust him. There's something about him that's really trustworthy, calming, and just good. He's all around good. Newt sees that, and it's just it's great.
It's a pretty cool
moment where he's holding the cockroach and he's gonna throw it, and the Occamy's staring at him or whatever. Yeah. It looks like a cat that's like staring at something that it's about to pounce on, that it's about to go get.
Yeah.
And so it's got
True.
that like cat sort of feature or pose, I guess, So anyway, just a cool scene.
Right.
And then I guess to move us along here, what do you have next week? We're going to get inside the case.
Yeah, they managed to shrink the Occamy and go back in Newt's case and put it back in the Occamy nest, right? And then we see a little scene between Queenie and Newt. And Queenie found that picture of a lady in Newt's suitcase.
Yeah, Lita Lestrange.
Lita Lestrange. And
Right.
Newt's like, kindly saying, please, please stop reading my mind. Please don't.
Yeah.
And it's his feelings were hurt at some point with Lita, and we learned that in the next movie.
Right.
We learned the background story about them, which is interesting because sometimes in the movie you're like, oh yeah, that's his true first love, and they're gonna get back together. But in this story, no, he realizes Lita was not his true love. Lita was meant for his brother, even though they had a special connection.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, too, what I find interesting is he said something right before this here. Let me get back up here. She says people are easiest to read when they're hurting, which is one of our quotes, right? He said it was a long time ago, and let's see what pops up here. They talk about change, right? That people change over time. So, yeah, it was a real close friendship that you had at school, and neither of us really fit in at school. But he does talk about them changing and kind of, I think it's a cool thing to remember, because I think we think, okay, just because we had this thing or this friend or this person or this experience or whatever in life that we can't change our minds or whatever. Like people feel like once you commit to something, you have to sort of say, no, my mind's fixed and it's always going to stay there, or I'm always going to stay close with this person or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, no, she changed, I changed, just whatever. Yeah. It's all about life and growing up and going your own way and doing your own thing.
Right.
It's part of his past, and maybe he was hurt by it. Now we will learn in the next film that his brother is with her, and so it's a even weirder kind of dynamic, and you understand why it's still maybe on his mind and everything, and maybe why he carries that photo around. I don't know. But he has changed himself, and yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Right.
I think it's okay.
And if both people are not committed to change together and let the other person in on the change,
right,
then that's the death sentence for the relationship, because then you change on your own, you go a different path, and you don't take your partner with you, or the people that are close to you. You don't take them with you on that journey. And this is what initially makes you feel like a stranger to that person.
Yeah.
And what Queenie says, by the way, I think Queenie is a little bit very nosy here. And I know she has just Newt's best interest in mind, but it's a little disrespectful. Newt repeats it twice. Please don't. I don't want you to.
Right, don't do that. Yeah.
Read my mind. And she probably sees everything that, all his memories about Lita that are crossing his mind at that moment, because she says she's a taker. And how could she tell? She's never met Lita. She read it in Newt's mind. Mm-hmm. She's a taker. You need a giver. You're a giver yourself, and you need a giver.
Yeah. Yeah, so her intentions are good, but also at the same time, it was a private thought, same sort of thing. She probably struggles with that because it's just naturally coming to her, and it's a part of who she is. So it's definitely, interesting.
Yeah.
And then can we give a big shout out to Frank? Because that's what jars them all out of this conversation. They talk about Ilvermorny, and is it Hogwarts or is it hogwash? But then Frank just takes to the skies and starts flapping his wings, and he senses danger. Wow, the trolley witch is back.
More caffeine here.
So I thought that was pretty cool, because now, it's multiple times you brought up the Thunderbird, it being tied to America, what it can do, that it changes the weather, that it can kind of. I actually have a cool X-ray thing later. We'll talk about the Thunderbird at the end of the film, just to kind of see how that ties into how they obliviate the entire town.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. All right. What do you got next?
Yeah. I just on that note. They have their. It's cool because you feel like Newt's suitcase is its own little world, and
Yeah.
you feel safe in there, and you could forget everything. Like, I bet you that Newt, he's probably spent days and days in his suitcase forgetting about the world,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just in his own world taking care of his creatures, and
Right.
and then they get reminded, hey, there's something big going on. There's danger around us. We have to get moving.
Right.
And then, we get the cut back to Graves, who's, initially he's Grindelwald, and he is at the Barebone House. And we've seen it multiple times now. He is using Credence. He wants to find the Obscurial,
Right.
the host, and he cannot. So to him, it's like, yeah, it can't be Credence. Obviously, he's way too old. We all know that the Obscurus wouldn't survive, or the Obscurial, I'm sorry, would not survive that long. So I think it is pretty interesting when Grindelwald realizes Credence seems to be useless. He totally switches gear. He shows his real face, and it totally backfires on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make a connection here to Voldemort, because him underestimating people and not caring about them and not seeing who they are, that backfires on him too. He totally ignores the power of love, and that everyone needs love, and he just wants to use people and doesn't see them for who they are. And that's a big flaw, where they don't care about people.
So I guess where I thought you were going with, so like, to me, it's an eye-opening moment in that, and if you're Credence, that should be something that sticks with him later on, right? This guy just wanted to use me for information, and he didn't really care about me. He dismissed me until he found out how powerful I am. It's a major flaw in Grindelwald and in Voldemort. They don't appreciate those. It's a strength for the likes of Dumbledore and Gandalf and other wizards and other guides by the side, that you see more value in people and everything and everyone. You try to find where its strengths or what it can add to.
Right.
And if it not for your own gain or whatever, just recognizing that people are people, and I don't know. Like, that's why I make the joke that shout out Squibs, but I mean, they're.
Yeah, and you never know how powerful people are, and you keep saying Jacob, he does his part.
I know,
he
Jacob's
is
awesome.
So helpful, and I mean, probably Grindelwald and Voldemort would argue, no, that's a weakness, because they use relationships and bonds to again, like, blackmail and threaten people.
Right.
If I take your sister, I know you're going to come to me. Or if I take the people you love, he knows Harry's going to come to him.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's, again, this whole, I just think too, when you're in this next movie, like, if you're Credence, like, can't you remember that? Can't you see the difference between Dumbledore and Grindelwald? Like, someone who took advantage of you and just wants to use you for your power. I just feel like
he's just blind with rage right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't know who he is.
Trying to find belonging and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting X-ray here. I want to bring this up. So Eddie Redmayne actually filmed a scene where he was a shirtless Newt Scamander, which showed off all of his scars he had collected on his body during his work with dangerous animals. He had worked out considerably before filming, so he was ready for the scene, just for that one scene. However, unfortunately for him, the scene was deleted from the final print. Isn't that crazy? It's during this whole fight where he's fighting Grindelwald, and he's Tina's dueling him as well, and they're going in after Credence and everything.
Are you saying he was like working out for weeks for that scene, and then they didn't even include that?
Didn't use it.
Wow.
Yeah. Still got a great workout in. But yeah, I guess he had. That would have been interesting to see, though, that he gets cut up, scarred, and you imagine his work is dangerous, and he's dealing with these creatures that probably have been. They're used to wizards hunting them down and killing them. They're not used to someone like Newt Scamander coming in and trying to be their friend and save them.
Right,
and stuff,
he has to win their trust first. Yeah.
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 Yep. So,
but, speaking about people and their power, when it comes down to, the whole scene, Credence goes nuts. He just wants to hurt people right now. He doesn't care. He loses his mind, and the Obscurus goes crazy in the city.
Yeah.
He destroys half of the city. All the Muggles can see it.
Right.
And Graves and also Newt and Tina, they got alerted, and Queenie, that something's wrong, and they all have to go to save Credence. And Tina is dueling Grindelwald Graves, but really Grindelwald for a moment.
Right. She says to Newt, save him. She tells Newt to go and save him.
Right.
And then she's going to I'll take on Graves.
Yeah.
So Mr. Graves, boom, she fires a shot at him, and then they're just dueling away here in the street. And it's really cool. It's just electrical, the connection that they have between their wands is so different than what you saw. It's more of a white, almost like lightning connection between their wands as they're dueling.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really neat and kind of different. And you wonder if has magic evolved more or what. It was just cool. But she holds her own big time, you know?
Right, she does. So it's not like, Graves just blasts her out of the way. No.
Mm-mm. No, he says, Tina, you're always turning up where you're least wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's mean.
He's trying to get, I think, again, he is... So Grindelwald shows in the next movie that it's his way with words, that he can actually use to kind of affect you, put you kind of off balance, right? And so he's even trying to get to her emotionally here. That's another tactic. It's not just his powers; it's his words.
He's a manipulator.
Yes, and he's trying to stir up people with his words and his cause and his he's probably a good speaker. It reminds me of actually Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings. And him kind of poisoning King Theoden.
Yeah.
So this is
words. Words are powerful too.
Right. So again, it's just one of those moments where he's doing that, and you can kind of see her waver just a little bit. Then he tosses the car at her, and she's got to jump back. So
right.
Yeah, just awesome. Also, she's wearing a locket. I've been trying to look at this and trying to get a closer look at what she's wearing. She is wearing some kind of locket that looks a lot like the
nuh-uh.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of what it is though, but it's, you know what I mean. So let me look it up real quick and see if there's anything on it while you drive us on to the next part, because the next is Makuza. Madame Pickery is looking at this map, which is really cool. It's lighting up of Manhattan.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and she sees that something's up, and she's like, "Hey, Aurors, I need your help. You got to fix this because we're about to be exposed to the entire Muggle world."
Right.
So then, Credence has his tantrum, and he goes down a subway station because he just needs a break from everything, and he just wants to get away. And first thought was, why does he go down that subway station? But that's where, it offers protection, it offers safety, a little bit of warmth, and he just tries to hide for a moment because he's confused, he's torn. So he goes down there, and Grindelwald, aka Graves, follows him, as well as Newt. Newt is actually the first one who follows him. And he's trying to get to him. He's trying to talk to him and tell him, hey, I've met someone just like you.
Yeah.
And we're here to help you. We're trying to help you. And we see that Credence is calmer in Newt's presence,
right.
But unfortunately, then Graves gets in
there and starts
the way, and starts talking to Credence too. And Credence is confused again, and he doesn't know what to do. And we see the whole the Makuza workers. They're protecting the area. They know right now the Muggles outside the protection spells. They've seen so much, but right now what we're trying to do is prevent that more Muggles can get in and go down the subway station. So they're casting all these protective spells.
Right.
And Tina, pretty cool move here. She does one of the James Bond worthy dives to get
tuck and roll.
Right. To get under the protection spell too.
Yeah.
Right. And it's actually her. I mean, at the end, it's so important because it's her relationship to Credence that saves everyone,
Right.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she's basically telling him this is not you. She's telling him to calm down. By the way, there's a great shot. She's like, "Don't do this." It's at 1:45, and you can actually see her necklace here,
Okay.
her pendant. And there's no mention as to what's inside of it or what it is, but it's a big sort of like oval egg shell.
Okay.
And the reason I bring it up is because, again, Grindelwald gave Credence one with the Deathly Hallows. These little things, like a part of your character costume, I think they matter, and they could hold little secrets. You know?
Yes.
And we're going to talk about a theory here in a second. So it's interesting, and the actress wanted it in the next film. Didn't really use it, didn't have a need for it, I guess, and it didn't show up as much in the next film. But I wonder if we'll see it again because it seems really important, and it's a big part of her costume. So
Yeah.
and it's a locket that can be opened, and there's something inside of it. So just kind of cool. But yeah, she's saying, don't do this, and does sort of calm him down. But ultimately, Makuza shows up, and they just... They destroy, we believe, the Obscuril, right? They basically destroy Credence, but they don't.
Yeah.
There's still wisps of him. There's
Yep.
still something left over.
Which makes you wonder, is Voldemort gonna come back?
Yeah. So right. Like how do you destroy something like this?
No, just
You know.
the image of how Voldemort was destroyed at the end of the movie.
Right, with all the wisps.
with
of,
all the, just fading away. It was
crazy.
People made fun of that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Also cool. I wanted to mention. Let's see if we can get to her. One of the auras that shows up. You and I watched The Expanse.
Yes.
And I thought this was cool. She is, I think, aura number 1. Let me find her real quick here. And she's like the lead. Yeah, Dominic. Lost her name. But anyway, she's standing right behind Madame Pickery, and I just thought I looked. I was like, I know that face, and I was just like kind of blown away that she was there.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we see her again because I don't know if she was a big movie star at the time or if that was something that kind of came up later. But they have all the. It's so cool. Again, if you haven't had a chance to check out the Amazon X-ray feature, it shows you all of these actors and their names and everything. It's just really, really cool.
That is pretty cool that he spotted that. Did you see that in the movie? You were like, oh, I know this actress.
No, it was afterwards. And I didn't even know until I started watching The Expanse not too long ago. And so then just to see her there. So that's what I was saying. I don't know if she had started in The Expanse yet or not. I had to look at the dates and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just really.
I think the first
Dominique
season
Tipper is her name.
First season of The Expanse was filmed pretty early.
Okay. I have some more general trivia here too. So we're right at the end of the film where basically Grindelwald is sort of revealed. It's revealed like the swooping evil is used by Newt, as we said earlier, and it's just kind of a cool moment where he is sort of forgiven to Tina and Newt, and Newt's going to help them kind of obliviate a whole town. I think Madame Pickery is sort of like, shoot, we've messed up. Like we weren't able to kind of contain this, and it's bad.
Yep. And by the way, I thought that was a pretty cool idea with the Thunderbird Frank, and that's the swooping evil's venom they use here to produce the rain. And Newt explains to us it's really, really strong, so it's strong enough to obliviate this whole city. And I was like, cool idea, but some of the people, they might have gone home and inside and not touched by the raindrops at all. But then the next scene shows us the solution because it's in the city water system. We see they drink water, they take showers, they brush their teeth. So everyone is exposed to water at some point in the city, and they're all obliviated through the water system.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So it's Frank, again, shout out to him, this giant hawk-like bird that he shows to Jacob, right, while he's touring the little menagerie there. It's a thunderbird, and thunderbirds are mythical birds that create and are summoned by lightning in Native American folklore. So this explains how Frank is summoned in his first appearance in the movie, and how he flies into the storm during the climax. So like he's a part of either it's either he's creating it or he's summoned by it or whatever. He has some sort of connection with storms and thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
And he's a thunderbird. So that was kind of cool. And it's in Native
And he
American
looks
folklore.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I just wondered, there must be another, a little bit more magic because it's instant that the rain somehow gets into the water system.
Mm-hmm.
And my computer is going to die in 15 minutes.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. We're right at the end of the show here. And so the cool thing is, so after that happens, like this was, and you'll remember this is the part where you actually, this is a rewatch and you still cried at the end of this movie.
Oh, I did.
And I almost did too. It's such a sad thing because Jacob's crying, Newt's crying, and he's like, hey, why did you keep me around, Newt? Right? And Newt instantly is like, because I like you. And
you're a friend.
Because you're my friend. And it was just so good. And I'll never forget how you helped me, Jacob.
Yeah. And I think Newt just doesn't have many friends,
Yeah.
And it's just, Newt is just such a
He's like, people like you. Yeah.
character. And he kind of has to, he knows he's different.
Right.
And a lot of people didn't really accept him the way he is. But he just felt, good and accepted in Jacob's presence. And it's just so cool.
I know.
And when he shows up to help Jacob to get out of the factory, that's so sweet.
I know it is. Their relation. It's cool because there's a full callback to the whole switching of the suitcases, and he drops a new one for him and takes his and stuff, and it's just really, really great, and gives him his sort of collateral or whatever for the bank loan that he needs for the bakery. And then Queenie too. Right here at the end, he's like, don't worry. There's loads like me, and she's like, no, right? There's only one like you. Yeah. And it's just so great. And he starts crying, and then he steps back into the rain, and it's just like,
it's all gone.
I gotta go, he says. So just cool. The conversation between Newt and Tina is also great.
Yeah.
Right. Just wonderful. And you said this. We're glad they don't kiss right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not Newt. That's not who.
No.
That's not. He's very, to him, he's kind of flirting. When he tries to flirt later and he talks to Jacob in the next film about like what he should say, it's just so different. It's just not what you're used to. It's not the typical way you would, but you want to be yourself. And I love that he is a character who is himself, and he just knows.
Even though he struggles with it a little bit.
Right.
And I bet that's the thing with Lita. He probably was fond of her for a bit, and he didn't know how to communicate that. And that's why he doesn't want to mess it up with Tina.
No, he does not. He does not. Can I say though, we all kind of know where this is going, but like, so on her Twitter, J.K. Rowling actually confirmed, this was back in 2015. Again, this is all in the X-ray stuff here, but that Tina is short for, is it Portina?
Porpentina.
Porpentina.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Oh shoot, that they have. That they now live in Dorset with his wife, Porpentina, and their pet Neasels, Hoppy, Millie, and Mauler. Right?
I want a pet Neasel.
I know.
That is so awesome.
I know. I knew you'd like that. It's so great. You've been trying to get us to adopt that little kitty cat at my dad's.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so he's going to bring his book back and personally give Tina a copy. He goes away. He struggles so much going on and off and everything. And it's just like he touches her hair and pulls her hair back a little bit. And
that's crazy. We are an international couple.
Yeah.
And we know what it feels like to say goodbye.
I know.
And for us, it's like at the airport, yes, you fly. You probably fly about 15 hours. So you have to change flights if you want to go from the States to Germany. There's direct flights, but not really where we live, so we have to change flights. So it's about 15 to 16 hours of traveling. For them, it's like, 1 or 2 weeks? Because he has to take the Muggle, the boat, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, he does.
You can't just apparate.
I guess not. I don't know. I do not know how that works. I will say something. You want to know something really interesting?
Yeah.
I just found this out, and I know you'll like this. I don't know if it's true or not, but one of the extras, I think, walking past Kowalski's quality baked goods is the actress that plays Edith Crawley.
No.
I'm pretty daggone sure that's her.
In the next movie?
No. In this movie right here, she's just an extra walking by.
What?
Yeah, I have it pulled up here on the screen. It's
Okay, I got to see this.
It's 2 hours and 3 minutes, and then 7 seconds is where she kind of comes across. And so if you want, sweetie, like right here.
Oh my.
Isn't that crazy?
Gosh.
Because we're huge fans of Downton Abbey. Let me go back 10 seconds. I'll play it for you.
That
Just
is
watch from the
so
right of the
cool.
screen. So we're going into the scene where we're going to his bakery, and boom, right over here.
Wow.
Does that not look just like her?
Oh, but you don't know if it's her?
No, I don't know. I'm just
Oh,
thinking it could be.
It could be. Okay, I thought you were,
I think it's her.
Okay.
I think it's her. So anyway, just kind of a cool thing. We're trying to micro analyze this. Oh, she walks by again. Wow, I love looking at the extras. I have a friend who does some extra work up in Cleveland, and has been on films, and it's just because there's so many people walking by. That's her. 100% that's her.
Can you please confirm that for us?
Yeah, I will. I'll look it up. But that's the end there, and this is when Queenie kind of comes in. You see all the different creations, right, for the bakery and the different baked goods and all those fantastic creatures that we see.
Yep.
So, yeah, just awesome. And that's pretty much the end of the film.
Yeah, and I gotta say, to summarize, my thoughts about the film is, I know a lot of people are not huge fans of but the first movie is really good. And I said it at the beginning when we started with part 1. For me, it was really the rewatches that did it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first time, I remember I'm that type of person who just watches a movie, but I miss a lot of things. I don't know why. I have no clue, but it's almost like, a teacher. As a teacher, you're trying to plan your lesson, and you have an exact idea in your head how you want to present the information to your students, how you want to talk about them. And this whole time, you're assuming your students are going to be paying attention to what you're saying, right? And that's
Right.
the filmmakers are hoping you're paying attention. But sometimes, if you're watching a 2-hour movie, maybe you're just thinking about the last scene for a little bit and you miss something.
Right.
And that's me. I miss a lot of things, and I'm like, hey, sweetie, did you notice that? And it's a third time watching it, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Well, no, yeah, it's just people, like people notice different things. There's some things
Yeah.
that people will point out to me that I'm like, what? Had no idea that was in there. So it's cool because I really like going into films and looking at them and trying to see them from different angles and figure out I don't know, just sort of where, like the cameos and the Easter eggs and all that stuff. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, I'll have to get back to you guys on the whole Laura Carmichael cameo there. Not sure, but I think that we might have had a cameo there. We'll have to see if we can get a hold of her social media and tweet at her or something. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so I think it's time to move on to the theory.
It is
Right?
theory time, sweetie.
Yeah. So
Give
this
us the
is
big
cool.
theory about Porpentina.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Porpentina Goldstein.
Yeah. So Tina Goldstein and Credence Goldstein. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
You heard me right. Credence Goldstein, Tina Goldstein, or maybe they both have a different last name. I don't know. All right. This theory came out. I'm going to give credit here to this individual. So this is, the user's name is Cereza Queenie.
Sir Ezra?
No idea.
Yeah.
Real close to that. And this was about 2 years ago. Fantastic Beasts fan theory regarding Credence and Tina. I've seen this theory on Twitter, and it actually makes sense, so I'm going to share it. You can read it here. It's Spanish, but I took the liberty of translating the theory. So here we go. Fantastic Beasts theory. Is it possible that Credence Barebone is not Albus Dumbledore's brother, but Porpentina Goldstein's brother? To begin, I want to tell you that this theory is something that we have discussed with the administrators of this account. among many of the theories that we have, and that it emerged in a chat group talking with other fans of the Fantastic Beasts saga. So great context. You got fans who are kind of, really into this idea of, who is Credence and how is he maybe possibly tied to Tina. So therefore, I know that this theory may sound far-fetched. We thought so in the beginning, but the more we looked for information about it, the more details we found that seemed too on the nose. So let's start with Credence Barebone. Originally, it was believed that this character was much younger than the protagonist Quartet, but after his adoption certificate was made public, we were able to know his true date of birth, cited as November 9, 1904. And so we've got some images that you guys can kind of look at. We'll post those over on the YouTube edition, but yeah, November 9th, 1904. So this would make him 22 years old by 1926 when the first movie is set. His adoption certificate is the paper that Credence finds at his house the day after his first Obscurus transformation, in a deleted scene which motivates his search for his true family. Now, let's go to what Dumbledore told Newt about Credence. Quote, "I know this, an Obscurus grows in the absence of love, as a dark twin, an only friend. If Credence has a real brother or sister out there who can take its place, he might yet be saved." So that was the whole arc, right, sweetie? In the next movie, there's this whole idea as to who is Credence, and is he somehow related to the Lestrange family and Lita and all of her kind of woe and everything that happens there. So Dumbledore seems to be talking about the fact that if Credence had an actual brother or sister, someone who could really love him, he could save himself from his obscurial condition, which could lead him to that condition could lead to his death, and is actually a rare thing to mention considering the end of the movie. So it's just kind of odd, I guess, that he does mention this whole bit that he could be cured from love that came from either a brother or a sister.
Right, there must be any kind of connection, and this theory as into the thought that Tina might be that sibling.
Right. Yep. So that's where we're going with this. And this fact, although overlooked because Dumbledore uses the word dark twin, which is quite confusing by itself, gives us the idea that he could be aware that Credence has a living brother, although he is not necessarily talking about himself. Which brings us to the next point. Credence was not born on the date it says or the date it says its adoption on the adoption certificate. And again, this was translated.
Right.
If we move to the mausoleum scene where Lita tells us the story about how about how he switched his brother Corvus with the baby that turned out to be Credence, we have one more clue. So according to the screenplay, the ship where these events occur was sailing in 1901, which is why Credence, being about the same age as the baby Corvus, who was recently born, should have been more recently as well. All right, so again, let me scroll on down here. So this leads us to recalculate Credence's age. If he was born in 1901, by 1926, his age would be about 25 years old, only 4 years younger than Lita and Newt. Another important fact is that the woman he was traveling with was not his mother, if not his aunt, also according to the screenplay. So what does this mean? Well, coincidentally, there is another character who was also born at the same year and is someone we know a lot. But maybe not so much. Porpentina Goldstein. According to her MACUSA identification card, Tina Goldstein was born on August 19th, 1901, which would make her and Credence the same age. We have several reasons to think that these two characters could be, brother and sister. Yeah. Right? Or even twins, possibly. So first, Tina and Queenie don't look alike. Neither their physical appearances, nor their eye color, nor their color of hair, or the fact that one has curly and the other does not. And we know that this is only circumstantial data, but let's take a closer look at their mother. So this is the scene where Tina is about to be executed, to cast the memory of her mother into the pool of water, right? And when Tina is about to be sentenced to death, we see her memories from her parents. And in these scenes, we see her mother, who is very similar to Queenie, although she doesn't have much resemblance to Tina. Also, the fact that Tina and Credence are quite similar. Pale, straight black hair, dark eyes, similar features. Even Credence's aunt, we see in the second movie, is also quite similar to Tina. In addition, Tina feels a certain attraction to Credence, even though she doesn't really know him. it's like she has an instinct to protect him, and the compassion she felt for him led her to risk her own career in the second film, embark on a trip to Paris to find him.
That's
kind
huge.
of a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the whole thing. She's kicked out of the Inquisitors sort of like squad because she or investigation team because of all this stuff with the second Salemers.
Yep.
And because of Credence.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. It's that they chose 2 actresses that look really different. So Queenie, I think, is a little bit taller. She's got blonde hair, blue eyes. I think blue eyes. Curly hair, and it's completely different from Tina's features. So yeah, that price, that's a huge thing. But the when they talk about Tina risking everything for Credence, and they mention it, she doesn't really know him, and I'm like, that's what caught me when she was about to die, and the last thing she would have seen was Credence hugging him, and that Lady Barebone was one of her probably strongest memories. Right. So
why was that a memory that we were looking at? You know what I mean? It wasn't just about like a part of the mystery as to why she's kicked out of the investigation team. Yeah. It's a strong enough memory because there's something else going on between Tina and Credence. Right. There's some pull, magical or instinct or something, that is pulling her towards him. So here we go. Yeah. The theory then is that Credence and Tina are twins, and they are from Europe. They arrive at the U.S. on the boat where Lita and Corvus were traveling. For unknown reasons, Credence was in her aunt's cabin, while Tina was in another cabin with his mother and father, or both. When the ship sank, Credence's aunt died trying to rescue baby Corvus, while Lita had accidentally saved Credence's life. Whoever was traveling with Tina did not survive the shipwreck either, but Tina did. Once in the United States, Tina is adopted by the Goldstein marriage as her own daughter, and for Credence. We already know that he ended up with Mary Lou Barebone, right? Another option is that the Goldstein marriage would have been traveling on that ship with baby Tina and baby Credence, and also with an aunt. So what could have happened is that the Goldstein considered their son deceased in the wreck, and they had never told Tina that she had a twin. So reasons to dismiss this theory are many, but let's remember 3 things. In Tina's biography, it says she has, quote, at least a sister.
Interesting.
At least a sister named Queenie. The reason for this is the fact that in the future, a character named Anthony Goldstein appears, who is confirmed by Rowling as a very distant relative of the sisters, and by bearing the family name and being the only Goldstein we know up until now, there may be a third brother who can pass the name to future generations, which is why I brought that up all in the beginning, is like, how do you continue to carry on that name? So Dumbledore suggests that Credence could have a brother, and that it would be the key to his salvation. In the same way, he suggests to Lita that confession is a relief, I'm told, a great weight lifted, as if he knew what she had done to Corvus. In general, he usually knows much more than he says, so he could know more about Credence's origins than he appears to let on. Point number 3 here, and that was point number 2. Point number 3, Rowling usually plans her stories very well and uses a resource called foreshadowing, very, very skillfully. So in which she leaves small clues and details that are irrelevant until we have the full story, and then with those details, they later become very important, right? Yeah. So one more thing in favor of the theory is that the on the Nagini Credence poster, if you zoom in on the symbols that are above their heads, she has a snake while he has a salamander, probably as a symbol of his relationship or his relation to Tina. Now that one blew me away, because in that film, Newt likens Tina to like he gives her essentially salamander kind of symbolism and word association. Yeah. So then on the poster, instead of picking like a phoenix or a bird there or whatever else, they actually use a salamander, and it's such a small thing. Those two characters are connected. You have the snake right for Nagini. And then you've got, on the left, you've got Credence, and just above him is a salamander. That for me did it. I was like, I am sold on this 100% now, that he's somehow connected to Tina, that he's the brother, that he's a Goldstein, and that Anthony Goldstein will maybe be descended from him or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that makes a lot of sense, and he's related.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, to Tina and Queenie. Crazy, right?
Because I gotta admit, this rewatch was the first time that I really stumbled upon how close Tina is to Credence, how passionate she is about protecting him, and she's like, Newt, you gotta save Credence, and he's the last thing she sees. I mean,
yeah.
There's so many things that hint at a stronger relationship between Credence and Tina, which is, I mean, right now everyone's talking about where's Tina in the next movie.
Yeah.
Could that be part of the plot?
It could be. That could be
not there
for a reason, for some reason. Yeah. I don't know if it's just because of like the actress, not, you know, if that's the case or what the deal is. We're about to find out when it comes out. So just in recap, I want to summarize this theory again.
Yeah.
So the theory is that Credence Goldstein and Tina Goldstein and Queenie Goldstein are all related, or that Credence and Tina are siblings that came across, they're from Europe, came across on a ship and were adopted into the Goldstein family. You know what I mean?
Wait, then that would mean that Tina isn't a Goldstein, right?
Right, it would mean that. Yeah. But they could still take on the name. I mean,
right.
She's still adopted or whatever. Now, the whole Credence thing, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how his last name is, you know, because right now he's just Credence. Like, he went from Credence Barebone to Credence Dumbledore to Credence who, right? I mean,
Corvus for a second.
Yeah, for Corvus for a little bit. Like, it's his identity's all over the place. Yeah. So he'll settle on a name, and I think that'll be Goldstein by the end. But, yeah, so, and again, in summary, it's like, Credence and Tina are connected because Tina cares about Credence. She wants to rescue him. She wants to save him. She risked her own career for him. She has this salamander symbolism around her in the poster. He has that associated with him, right? You've got Nagini on one side, and then you've got him on the other. And so that's very strong. You also have their age, right? Being born around the same time, 1901, possibly. And so they could be Dumbledore mentioning a dark twin, needing another, like a brother or a sister, and the mislead is brother. But what if it were a sister? Authors use that all the time to kind of mislead you. They have one character mention a sibling, and so you're like, okay, he does have siblings. And when you mention brother, we eat it up and we say, oh, yep, he's got a brother. Yep. But all along, he's had a sister. Yeah. He's had a sister who has been caring and looking into him and has been drawn to him. And it makes a lot of sense that their locale is in the same spot. They were traveling to America, and they got split up. There's this big shipwreck. So somehow they are tied to the Corvus story. Yeah. But we were so focused on who is Corvus and the Lestrange connection and all that kind of stuff that what we missed was during the baby swap, there was a regular family, possibly the Goldsteins coming back, or just whoever Tina... if Tina is, again, not necessarily a Goldstein, she might not be. Because we said, like, Tina's appearance is different than Queenie's. Yeah. Like, that could be her adopted mother that she sees there. She could be very, very, like a small child when she comes to the United States. Her parents could have been lost. There's a number of different things to consider. But what is clear is that Tina and Credence are connected. Yeah. And
there is similarities between how... Albus feels about his sister Ariana, who possibly, it looks like she developed an obscurus. Yeah. And how Tina feels about Credence for some reason. And I think she doesn't fully understand why she's so, she cares so much about him.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Now, there is another theory that's out there, and it's floated around by different YouTubers, and it's been kind of pretty popular. It's the idea that Credence is somehow like the human form of Ariana's obscurus, and that in this theory Dumbledore asked like Flamel to help him with his sister who had died, and in the theory Albus might have kept the obscurus like Ariana's obscurus.
Yeah, like Newt has that obscurus from that Pakistan? No, not Pakistan.
Sudan.
Sudanese girl. Yeah.
Right. So they used the Philosopher's Stone, and they might have tried to bring back Ariana and maybe somehow used her Obscurious or her Obscurial, whatever it's called.
She's the Obscurial, the host is the Obscurial, and the Obscurus is the beast.
Obscurus, okay. So they might have tried to use the Obscurus to bring back Ariana with the Philosopher's Stone, which then sort of results in this Credence phenomenon, maybe. And that's a theory that's floated around out there. Honestly, I like the idea that Tina and Credence are related.
Yeah.
And that he really just he's his own thing. He's very separate from Dumbledore's situation. But the fascination that Grindelwald has with Dumbledore's sister and the power that she has, I think that clicks in his mind as something that's interesting. Like, well, if I ever found some of those, like an Obscurious again, then he could use it for powerful gain. And so when he hears of one, when he hears rumor of Credence in America, that's what brings Grindelwald from Europe across over to America to kind of, be an imposter, the Graves imposter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting, right?
It is. I'm blown away when I read this. I'm so glad I found this.
Yeah, me too. It was fantastic.
And really, credits to the editor, author.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also to the editor. Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah.
For editing our podcast.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was really cool, and I'm happy to kind of share this, and I just think it's great. I think it's awesome. So, all right. Well, that's pretty much it, friends. That is the show. Today, I mean, I think the advice of the day, right, is to what, sweetie?
Advice of the day. I just want to pull a link to Credence and how Grindelwald treats him and try to really see people for what they are and not for what you want them to be. Because we see that with Grindelwald. He just wants to use Credence. He wants to, he's someone who's close to his sister and might be leading him to the Obscurial. And he failed to see Credence true, what he really is. Even Newt, the love that he has for the creatures and the value he sees in them, and other people fail to see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just try to really see people and not just live on your own imagination of what people should be in your eyes.
Yeah, I think it's really important to kind of, and as a teacher, I always try to see what my students, what are their passions, what are their strengths, who are they, what are they into, and I do watch them struggle with what society wants them to be and what they should be involved in, what they should care about and stuff, and it's like really getting to the core of who they are is important. And I think for everyone, it doesn't matter how old you are either. As like Newt said, we change. Our ambitions can change, or what you once thought of someone, I don't know, 2 years ago might have changed. They might have gone through something else or whatever. And so I just think it's always important to be looking for the best in people and trying to see, where they're coming from. So I like that, sweetie. That's great. Yeah, it's awesome. All right, friends. Well, we got in the discussion there on Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. That was part 2. And we got a little Credence, Tina Goldstein theory going there for you as well, which was a lot of fun.
Let us know what you think about that. I would love to hear what other people think about it.
Yeah, friends, you can always send us an email at, this will be fleurandbill@gmail.com. You guys can send us an email there. Or if you just want to reach out on social media, you can hit us up at fleurandbill on Instagram. And, we'll chat with you guys. We'd love to hear what you think about it. So, and as the show or as the movie comes out, maybe it's revealed or something. And, that'd be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, as we're talking about this, everyone already knows about this. And
it's like, shoot, we got to post this right away,
Probably, yeah.
All right, friends. Hey, with that, thanks so much. Thanks for tuning into Shell Cottage Radio 94.7 COZY. We hope you'll join us in the future. We thoroughly do enjoy meeting new positive Potter people that don't behave like babbling, bumbling band of baboons. If you don't want to miss the next episode, then be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review and follow us over on social media at Fleur and Bill.
Yeah, we would love to have you back next week for part 1 of our REWATCH. Did I say it again?
You did.
REWATCH. I can't.
The
REWATCH of
That's
Grindelwald's crimes.
That's good.
That's it for this week. Thanks for joining Fleur and Bill in their cozy shell cottage. We know it's not much, but it's our home. kommt der Servierwagen. Ihr Lieben, etwas Süßes?